Danny Toddcast. Danny Toddcast.
So I got this Alani new drink. I don't know. If you don't know me, I love caffeine. There's hardly a day that goes by that I don't drink caffeine. Usually on the podcast, I just have like a massive mason jar full of coffee, and it's always a bad idea because then I just can't talk. So I don't know why I thought doing an Alani new 200 milligrams of caffeine would be a smart idea. But I was at the store and I saw this one. And I mean, the flavors I've tried have been really good, but this one was called Witch's Brew. But what really caught my attention is on the sides, there's caramel apple little cartoon things on it. So I was curious. So I figured I'd give it a little taste test. Oh, this is going to be dangerous. It smells just like those candy, like caramel apples that rip your teeth out. Oh, dude, that's so damn. I at first you get the apple and then you're like, well, where's the caramel? You're kind of getting it, but the aftertaste is like that. How do I describe it? Like that creamy caramel flavor, I guess. When you have like one of those caramel apple suckers, right? You get a lot of, well, okay, first you have to go through like the 100,000 inches of caramel that are usually on them. Unless you get boned and you get one that has like hardly any caramel and it's just apple. But damn. Yeah, like right off the front, you get that apple. The same, it tastes exactly the same as that apple lolly, and then you get that caramel. That's really good. I kind of wish it wasn't. I mean, I know it's meant as a pre-workout, but I wish it wasn't 200 milligrams. Here's the, I don't know if you can see that. Obviously, if you're listening, head over to the YouTube, check it out. Again, this is weird sitting in front of the camera. But it's fun. It's fun setting all this shit up and doing this and running back and forth from my computer to here. This is probably the third try again because I like to queue up my intro song. So then I kind of have a buffer and like a way to start because it's a little not intimidating, but I guess a little weird just going, all right, boom. Unless I have someone on the podcast, it's different because then you ring them up or they're in person and you're kind of just like sitting with someone and you're like, okay, let's start. La, 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 la. Or you're already talking. So that's kind of like one of those things. But like running back and forth, I was like, okay, cool. And then I did a take where I was like, welcome to the podcast. Blah, blah, blah. And it just sounded so fake and so stupid. So here we are. Shout out Alani New. Not a sponsor, but you can sponsor me if you want. Yeah. So it's been a good day. I got a haircut. If you haven't noticed, I don't know why you would, because even if you watched the last video, I had a hat on. I was tempted to put a hat on now, but because I get what's called, I believe it's called a mid fade. I mean, my barber, who I've been going to for a little bit. I mean, when I say mid fade, he knows what I'm talking about. So when I put a hat on with this haircut, it looks like I just don't have any hair, and I'm not a huge fan of that look. There's only like maybe one or two hats that I could have done it. I was like, I don't know. I don't really feel like wearing a hat. Show off the new cut, right? One thing that I got to make sure to keep not doing is, so to my right, I have the closets with the mirrors on it. So then I get to see my stupid ass self there. And then, I mean, I feel like I do check the monitor with the audio recording because I want to make sure that it's recording. And I think it still is recording because that would be a bummer because then we would just have an audio version. And I mean, what's the point of this podcast if you can't see my beautiful face that's probably a little red and might have hair covered on it? But yeah, barber did good. I mean, I'm wearing these fat ass headphones, so you can't really tell, but you know, feels good. I feel like I need to get better at going to get my hair cut. As of like this year, maybe even last year too. Although I felt like I went more last year. I feel like it's almost not by, like a quarterly thing for me. Like I get it a few times. I get a haircut a few times a year. I don't know. It just sucks. Like I think it's been like maybe three months since I got my haircut, and that was because I was going to a wedding. So like I wonder like if I didn't go to the wedding, when would I have gotten a haircut? And again, I got a haircut because I'm going to a wedding next week. So it's like I wonder where I would be if I didn't have weddings to go to, which I don't have a lot of weddings to go to. And like when my hair gets long, like my starting haircut, which is this, the mid fade, like it doesn't necessarily grow out that well. Like I was talking to my barber about it and I was like, man, like I don't really think I'm helping myself out either when I'm growing it out because I mean, I get this haircut where the top is longer and obviously the short. The back and sides are usually I go to is one. Today I went to skin tight and then usually one, I think. I don't know. But anyways, it doesn't help like the fact that my hair on the top is longer because then now as I was saying, I was talking to my barber, like I would now need to go in and get it kind of trimmed up a little bit so then it can kind of grow out a lot better. Because right now it gets way too long in the front. Like I think my hair in the front when he had my by the way, I look like what was it? Cause tonight will be the night that I will fall for you over again. It looks super emo. Is it Misfits? No. The super metal guy with is it the Deathlock? I don't know. All my hair was in the front. It went down to like maybe a little bit past my nose. And it just looked ridiculous because like the sides were all done because he did that first, and then it's just down in my face. So it was long, but I like how the back looks. The side's okay. Never had a problem with that, but the front it just gets way too long, and it's always in my hair, always in my hair, always in my face, and then especially like washing my hair, it gets so like I don't think fluffy is the right word, but it just gets so airy. I guess fluffy could work. I don't know. When I think fluffy, I think like I don't know. I don't get a fro. Yeah. So I don't know. Airy. It's aerated. It's super awesome. So yeah, I don't know if black was a good idea to wear for a shirt because it's probably just going to show up a bunch of hair and possibly dandruff, which is also annoying, which I don't think I have like crazy. But hey, you know what? You pick up some Head and Shoulders and you're good to go. I gotta say, dude, this thing is sick. Hmm. I was gonna do some Halloween colors for the lights I have next to me, but it doesn't really show up that well. I was gonna do like orange and purple because I mean I have a purple drink, but it didn't show up as well. So I did blue. Like you even care, right? I know. So yeah, yesterday. I mean, today's been a great day. Not a lot going on. Some work stuff, doing all that, and then I had to mow the lawn yesterday. The front yard is always easy to take care of. It's a little bit easier to navigate, and I mean it's got the curb appeal, so or at least I take care of it a little bit more often. But the backyard is such a pain in the ass because it's just there's so much room to cover, and then it's like up all along the fence and all that shit, and it's just so annoying. So it tends to get left behind a little longer and becomes a jungle. So yesterday I had to do it because it's gonna start snowing here in a couple months, and maybe mid next month. I don't remember if October had any snow. I don't know, but you don't want to keep your grass long because then it just promotes like rot in your grass and shit like that. So that's no fun. So we're working on, you know, instead of just keeping it a little high and mowing it on the highest setting and all that stuff, like lowering it down. So yesterday I had the privilege of doing the lawn basically like twice. So I had to edge the yard, then I went and I did a pass of the entire yard with out the bag on, did a little mulch kind of vibe, recycling it. That's where like you've probably seen a yard where it's like, why is there so many trimmings on it? Like typically it is good for your lawn, like, but you don't want too much, or if it's too wet, it clumps together and it just will ruin your grass a bit. So had to do that. And then I put the bag on and did a whole other pass. So, I mean, I think for when I do the front lawn, it takes like 20, 25 minutes. and I burn maybe around like 350 to 400 calories. So this was more times two. So that was a good workout. I will say I almost like sprained my ankle a few times. And before you get at me, I'm not a sissy. Like I'm no wimp. Like I played hockey for a long time, so my ankles are strong. But nothing can prepare you to be walking on the grass, and when you think you picked up all the poop and you think you're good, and all of a sudden you go and take a step, and as you're going, you just like uh yeah, you just like you're I don't know, it feels like you're stepping in mud, like wet mud that just like is caked up, and it just sucks because you're like, oh shoot, like one, you don't want to fall while mowing the lawn because that's just not good. I'm not trying to hurt myself, like emergency room hurt myself, but you almost like immediately know that you just stepped in some dog shit, and it's not fun and it sucks. I mean, like, I don't, I threw away the one pair of shoes that I had that like I kind of dedicated them as my lawn shoes. I didn't really care. They were old Van slip on, the checkered ones, and they were just my dedicated ones. They were getting green from the grass, and I'm sure I stepped in that, dog shit. Like it was fine. You just leave them outside somewhere. But I had decided to wear, I mean, they are kind of old, and I've skated in them a bunch. And I mean, but they still look cool. They're Vans, but they're Spitfire edition, and they're like a light pink, and they're super sick. I'll try and post a photo as I'm talking. That's another thing I want to try and do as I'm doing the video version when I'm editing. I want to try and overlay some stuff. So I think in this episode, there's going to be some overlays of stuff about what I'm talking about. Ooh, excuse me. So yeah, kind of bummed that now those are turning a little green from the grass. And I definitely like stepped in a bunch of shit, which was not fun. The only upside, I guess, about these shoes being a little bit like worn out. Ooh, excuse me. Jeez. Again with the carbonated beverages, I just never seem to like do myself any justice, but I just love carbonated beverages. It sucks. And apparently, like even just like LaCroix and stuff, like they don't even hydrate you. Apparently, I don't know. Allegedly. But anyways, they're worn out on the bottom, so the tread, that waffle texture, whatever you want to call it, it's pretty worn down. So not like much really got to like cake up and stick in there. Like I'm sure everyone watching and listening has stepped in dog shit. And then you gotta like go get a stick or something and like basically just pick out dog crap from your shoes. But luckily I don't know. I checked once and then I definitely stepped in one more. And you're always like, I thought I picked everything up. There was a solid like, well, I guess they weren't solid. I mean, I must have, well, I guess first off, I should just get better at picking up dog's crap. Like once they do it, go pick it up. Because then I won't have this problem when I mow the lawn. Because it's not fun when you're ready to go do something and you're like, hold on, I got to do this other chore first so I can do the other chore. And I think the problem is because we need to go lower on the cut. Because when we're doing at the highest setting, it just goes right over that shit. Like literally, like it just stays there because you're not low enough to where it's gonna slice through the duty. So I guess first off, I should just be better at mowing the lawn. No, I'm getting better at mowing the lawn, but picking up crap, it sucks. But I don't know. Anyways, that was a big portion of my day. Besides editing some videos for work, which by the way is super awesome. Super Springs International. We have a bunch of different products. The namesake product is the Super Spring, which is an add-a-leaf spring for your, leaf springs for your vehicle. And then I feel like it's one of the more popular products we have. It's the Sumo Springs. There's some different variants of weights and all that stuff, or densities, I should say. But basically, it replaces the bump stop on your vehicle. And it's just like when if you bottomed out on your vehicle with your factory bump stops, it's not fun. It's just basically there to save you from hitting steel, like the bottom of your vehicle. So it's got a progressive spring rate. So it's definitely like, I mean, I put them on my Nissan Xterra and going around like the roundabouts, and I mean, obviously hitting bumps and all that stuff. It's just so much nicer. Like I put it through like some big bumps and stuff, and I mean, no matter what, like a bump is not going to be super fun, but when you don't have these and you just have that factory bump stop, that's super hard rubber. Like it sucks. And these, I mean, these are made of a microcellular polyurethane. Yeah, they're awesome. I will have a kind of affiliate link thing. I just got to set it up. That way y'all can hopefully save some money if you're interested. I don't know who really watches this as far as demographics go, with car watching people and such. But yeah, basically edited and finished up a video yesterday, posted to YouTube on our YouTube channel, which is sick. I'll have a bunch of links in the show notes down below that you can check out, and you can kind of see what am I doing. Yeah, but did that. And the video was from something that we just did last weekend, which was the Panhandle Overland Rally, which is in Sandpoint. I'm in Post Falls, so it was like call it an hour north. So really beautiful place. I mean, if you're familiar with, I mean, if I say Sandpoint and you know what I'm talking about, then you know. But if you don't, I mean, Google it. It's beautiful. I mean, this whole area is beautiful. And basically we were there all of Friday, Saturday, and then we left, I don't know, like 11ish on Sunday. It was so awesome. Really cool to like, I mean, with my work, I'm getting more familiar with kind of the automotive industry, especially overlanding. And overlanding, let me see if I can find an actual definition so I don't piss anyone off. But yeah, it was super sick. And it's a bummer because, let's see here, what is overlanding? If anyone watching Overland, I'm sorry. Okay. To put it simply, overlanding is vehicle-based on-road and off-road adventure travel with a focus on self-reliance, resilience, and enjoyment of the journey. So basically, it's kind of just going out there and adventuring and finding new routes or taking, pre-made trails and whatnot, and just taking your vehicle out and, you know, probably to places that you wouldn't necessarily have service, I guess. Just taking it out there, having fun with your vehicle. And I think the whole community around overlanding is all about, I mean, especially like a lot of camping. So tons of people had like the rooftop tents, which were absolutely crazy. There are some sick setups. And then, there's a company called Decked that hopefully I can get one whenever I get a truck. But, like the truck bed, or I mean, I think they make them for all sorts of vehicles, but like the truck bed, you put it down and then inside there's almost like a huge long shelf area that's hidden, and you have drawers and such and organization and all that stuff. It's super cool. And there's a bunch of other stuff that, I mean, went on there, and all the sponsors and stuff like that, where basically, you're out there and you're like, oh, okay, I need to learn how to pull myself out of a ditch with these. I mean, I'm going to say cam straps just because I don't really know much more about that. But, having these certain tools and whatnot to kind of get yourself in and out of positions, the camping, whether it's, I mean, for example, I slept in the back of my Xterra. I made a cool little setup. It was pretty neat. I mean, obviously, I'm glad to be back in a normal bed, but part of the fun, just being out in a field with a bunch of other people for the same reason of just having your vehicles out there, making connections, having fun, sending your vehicle through some crazy shit. I mean, we went through, what was it? Saturday, woke up at 5:30 for a 6:00 meetup that we did. We left at 6, came back at 9, and we took it through some trails, and it was pretty cool. There was maybe 10 vehicles from like, I mean, really cool Toyota Tacomas, which that is the video that I just posted yesterday for our Super Springs International channel, which is super cool. So, you have all the modded up trucks and the 4Runners, maybe pre-runners, and all these different things. And it was kind of cool. The buddy of the guy that we did the install for, which we installed Sumo Springs, so you can always check that out. But he had a Porsche Cayenne that I believe was not, I don't know if he kept saying stock, but like it definitely, I don't know. Like I think it was on, like he could raise it up so he had some clearance. But basically, like I was riding around in a Porsche Cayenne, which is pretty sick. I mean, hauls ass too. Like, and he was not afraid to like full on send it. Like, there'd be times where the group would get really ahead of us just because maybe we needed to like stop and get one of the guys from filming and then catch up. And oh, he would just send it. It was so cool. It was interesting, not weird, but like it was just an interesting thing to be like, yeah, I went overlanding for the first time and we went on a trail ride and yeah, I was in a Porsche Cayenne. You're like, what? I don't know. But it was really cool. To the extent, I mean, what I read there, it had like on road and off road. So I'm not sure the extent on the on road part. Because I mean, what part is just a road trip than overlanding? I'm not quite sure. But yeah, it was a super cool experience. Made a lot of connections, met a lot of, met a lot of people, saw a lot of cool things. I mean, there was like 10, 15 dogs there too. I mean, live music from something lady, oh, I forget his first name. A musician, of course. And then Andrew Janakis, who is a hell of a good dude, such an awesome guy. I mean, the first night there, I mean, everyone around the campfire, big campfire. He's just on the acoustic playing, some songs, original and just country hits and whatnot. Super fun. And then, I mean, the second night there was the actual, like they were on stage with the lights and, plugged in and all that. And it was really fun. I mean, just a really cool experience. And it's one of those where it's now I'm like excited for next year because I'll know more of what to do, what to get, because there was so much going on that I didn't even know really until it was done. Then I was like, oh shit. But I don't know. All in all, like a really cool experience. And I mean, a lot of these are open up to the public as well. Like there was a lot of people there that were just there for the day, drove in. I mean, I don't know if you had to have like a pass or something to go on some of the back trails and such, but if you are like doing all that stuff or even just like checking out like camping stuff, I would highly suggest checking out like an overland rally. I mean, I think there's my boss right now is at a different one, Overland East, I think. I forget, but I feel like they're more popular than I expected. Or maybe now that I've like gone through one and all that and I know what they are, now I'm probably going to start seeing them. Like I remember when I was looking at trucks and I was looking at a certain truck that like I wasn't really familiar with and didn't necessarily think that I saw like out and about. And then once I started looking at them, I swear, like the next day, each day for a long time, even to, till today. I mean, it's been months too, where I would just see it all the time. And it's crazy. And you're almost like, damn it. Especially because it was one that was like, I'm not going to get it. It's not big enough. It's not what I want. I don't know. I mean, it looks somewhat decently cool. I'm not even going to say what it is. I feel like I'd get roasted. Oh. Anyways, yeah, check it out. If there's one near you, do it. Can't hurt. Usually they're not too expensive, but I mean, usually they like vendors there have like discount codes, I guess, specific to the event. So you can probably get hooked up with some stuff. You get swag and all that stuff. And it's just all around a good time. And that was, yeah. I will say, looking at this thing, it made me remind myself about Halloween. I don't know what I'm going to do. The last time I did a podcast with Halloween, I was Hulk Hogan. That was pretty funny. But I can't do that again because that would just be stupid. I was thinking, well, my dog she's like, well, a Rhodesian Ridgeback, but she's got the different kind of coloring. She's brown. So naturally, I'm like, oh, you could be Scooby Doo. And I could be, well, I would be Shaggy, but then I need to get a wig, and wigs are so uncomfortable. And I mean, even speaking from experience of doing, I mean, I'm not a big Halloween person to dress up. So it's kind of nice to do the podcast because it kind of forces my hand into like trying to have some fun and loosen up. But doing the Hulk Hogan, I did the wig and it was just what I remember. It wasn't great, but I mean, they're never really great quality because I also don't want to spend a lot of money on a good ass wig that I'm only going to wear once. So I was like, wow, there goes Shaggy. Then I could always be Why am I blanking on what's his name? The one that dresses like proper, prim and proper. Let's see, Scooby Doo gang, I guess. Gang. What is the no. Who is the oldest gang member? No, who is the oldest gang member? And no, that's just funny to read. Shaggy. Why is it not telling me names? Here we go. Sorry about this. Daphne, Elma. Why is it Fred? Freddy. Yeah, but I mean, it's because I'm blonde. Maybe I could do it. I don't know. I don't know. There was one that I was thinking of, and I think it would be kind of funny. And I don't think not many people would know what it is unless you've, like, if you're familiar with Jay and Silent Bob, all those movies that they're in. What is it? Blunt Man and Chronic? Blunt Man and Chronic? Is it? I hate going to my phone for this shit. Blunt Man and Chronic. Yeah. Blunt Man and Chronic are characters appearing in a fictional eponymous? That's a new word for me. Comic book series chasing Amy, Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back, and Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. So I was thinking about being one of those characters just because I think it's funny. And I love those movies. I love Jay and Silent Bob, Clerks, all those funny ones. If you haven't seen them, I think you should check it out. Chances are you might not like it because it is definitely very weird, but it's so freaking funny. Like $15, little man, put that shit in my hand. If you don't, I wish I knew the words. Anyways. Oh man. Okay, I'm sorry. I know I've said it a bunch now, but this drink is addictive. Oh my goodness. One thing that I recently did see though is there's a couple things. One thing I'll just skim over real quick. I did see something about The Office having a reboot. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Because once it went to like Michael Scott, Steve Carell's character leaving, and then I think it was Will Ferrell when he came in. I mean, it's still funny, but it wasn't the same. And now, much later, I don't know when the last episode aired, and I'm not going to look it up because I've already gone to my phone way too many times. I just don't think it's going to be the same. Like, you can have every single character the same, everything, like even, same writers, everything like that. But I don't think it's going to be the same. And I think I would watch it. I would give it a try. I mean, I'm obviously okay with being, incorrect and it being absolutely incredible and just as good, if not better than the original series of The Office. But it scares me when they do certain things like that. And I feel like I'm saying that with no basis because I can't think of any other thing besides like movies where they want to like do a reboot and it fails miserably, which I know there's a ton, but I just can't think off the top of my head. But I just don't have a good feeling about it. All for it. I'll watch it. I don't know. Maybe in the comments you can let me know what you think and if you'd watch it and maybe what you would hope for, I guess. I don't know. The Office, love it. Reboot. I guess we'll see if that's even a real thing. I mean, that was a week ago or so when I saw that, and I don't even know who posted it. So who knows if that's even like a credible source. But one other thing that I did see that I think is hilarious in kind of a bummer way, I guess. So, I mean, if you have social media, I'm sure you've seen like all the Britney Spears stuff that she's just gone psycho crazy. And it's a bummer because I mean, she had that whole thing with her conservation. Oh my gosh, whatever it's called. You know what I'm talking about. Conservatorship. Oh, yeah. Someone just comment the word because I'm not going to say it. Conveyorship? I don't know. Whatever. You know what I'm talking about? That rocked her world. And I'm glad she won. I think she won. Yeah. Super happy about that. But like leading up to that, she was like losing their marbles, it seems, and doing all these weird dances. And I mean, there's the conspiracy theories of that, like it's not her, like her eyes are not the same, or like her teeth. Like apparently now she has a little bit of a gap between her front two teeth. So slight, but like I don't know, a bunch of conspiracies that it's not her, which would be cool because I mean, I just hope that it's not her because I see some videos and it's absolutely crazy. And I feel like the reason have like certain feelings about it is because I grew up with Britney Spears, not like obviously the same age, but I mean, when her hits were going crazy, like that was at like the pinnacle of me like getting into music in general. And Backstreet Boys, In Sync, 98 Degrees, um hell, I don't mean what else? Christina Aguilera, like oh no, what is it? Hanson, like all these people, like it was all happening at the same time. It was such a great era for music. And I mean, obviously Britney Spears is hot. Or at least she was hot, I guess. I mean, she I guess could still be considered attractive, I guess. But like if you told younger me, like who obviously loved Britney Spears because I mean, I was a adolescent boy going through puberty, so of course I loved Britney Spears and all of them. Shout out JoJo, by the way. She was definitely a big crush back in those days. Leave, get out, it's the end of you. Sorry for that. If you had to hear that, hopefully you weren't listening. Uh, but obviously she was very attractive in all the skimpy outfits and the music videos and very sexualized and stuff like that. So growing up kid, of course you're like, whoa, hello, that's crazy, interesting, okay, great. Trying to keep it somewhat like PG here. But if you were to tell me back then that she would eventually, like with no context, be like, yeah, she's gonna like post some like crazy shit, like some wild stuff, like you'd be like, oh, really? Okay, great. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to that. Thanks, older me. And then you get to now and you're like, this is not what I thought you were talking about. Little batshit crazy seems like, huh? So it's a little bit of a letdown because okay, I'm not let down. It's just like I don't know. I mean, what's Christina Aguilera doing? The Voice? I mean, stuff like that. Like, I don't know. Like when you hear she's doing all these like crazy dances and posting these insane photos, which are just wild. Like, how are they like? I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if some of them like got deleted from Instagram. Like if you know what I'm talking about. So younger me is a little bit disappointed because I feel like it would have been a big moment. It's okay. We'll move past it. But I'm bringing this up because she just posted like a dancing video recently with knives, like chef knives. And one, dangerous. You're not a trained professional in the knife wielding category, whatever. So dangerous for sure. And it's not like, I mean, dancing with knives in general. I mean, walking from one end to the island to the next with a knife could be dangerous if you're not, paying attention. But dancing in general, excuse me, dancing in general with knives is not a good idea. But then you're doing it in the 2023 era Britney Spears style. And then you just throw a whole other loop into the danger. It's pretty intense. I don't know if you've seen it. And there's a lot of great memes out there, but there's one that I really do like that it's basically her as like a hibachi chef. And it just ties in absolutely perfect. And I just want to know who, like, for one, is there someone like facilitating this? I mean, I know she won her thing, the word that I can't pronounce, and remember even what it is. Um, so she's able to kind of let go and let loose and not really have to worry about much. But like, who's like, maybe someone should be like, hey, Brittany, maybe we put the knives down. Do the dances. That's totally fine. But maybe just put the put the knives down. Okay. This is not Fruit Ninja. Which okay, if she had like fruit, like someone was like tossing fruit, like that would be a cool idea. So Brittany, I mean, I will okay that. If you want to do more dances with the knives, obviously don't hurt yourself or anyone around you, if anyone is even around you. But maybe you do have someone stand like 10 feet back and just throw small fruit, right? No watermelons, because then I think, the force to get through that might end up, you know, the follow through might be a little bit bad. But that I think I'd be okay with because there is the humor in it. I think that's maybe where all this kind of goes sideways too is the dancing and everything. For one, I mean, I can appreciate dancing for what it is, because just like art, well, I guess it is art, right? In a different sense, it's all up for its own interpretation. I just don't know what her like when she's doing them, if like we're supposed to interpret something. And I guess that also goes into the fact of like when she started doing all these, a lot of like the conspiracies were like, oh, she's like trying to signal us for help or something like that. Like, I don't know. I just don't know what you want me to think about you dancing with knives. Like, I obviously hope you're okay. Younger me hopes you're okay too. But unless there's no like fruit being thrown in the air, just put the knives down, okay? Like, just do us all a favor. Put the knives down. I mean, keep dancing if you want. Join the voice. Do something. I don't know. It's just insane. But if you want to see, you gotta just search up. I'm pretty sure you can just type in Google like Britney Spears knives hibachi chef, or even just Britney Spears hibachi. Maybe, I don't know. That might end up in a weird search. I don't know. Search at your own discretion, I guess. Yeah. What are we doing on time here? I tried moving my thing closer because I can't see for shit. Ah, man. I really hate glasses. I gotta say, it's such a. I mean, it's one of those when I do take my glasses off to like wash my face or something, and like there's a distance. Well, let's see here. The mirror. Oh god, the mirror is about 6.5, 7 feet away, and that's blurry for sure. Like if I could put this reflecting, so obviously I know it says Alani, but nah, I can't read that. So yeah, I'm definitely my vision sucks ass. It just it's stupid. I hate it. I see people walking around with no glasses. I'm like, that's great. Your eyes will work like they should. I have to wear these things. But I just like when I'm like I was saying, when I take them off, I just like I don't know. It's probably because I'm so used to them. I mean, I've worn glasses for oh geez, probably maybe 10 years, something like that. A long time. So it's a part of who I am, part of my identity. But it's annoying. They get scratched up. I try and take care of them. They fog up, especially like, I mean, on this overlanding trip, like there was some, I mean, it was cold for a lot of it, but like rainy and all that. And then there's rain on it, or you're trying to take a photo and you go up to take a photo and then it fogs up. And I mean, you're driving down the freeway. And I mean, luckily I finally did get some Ray-Ban sunglass prescription sunnies, which is a help, massive help for like, well, obviously driving in the sunlight, but also it's going to come in handy for when it's snowing and it's just so just bright out because the sun is reflecting off the white snow and all that. But it's just so stupid and annoying and more stuff you have to pay for. And I mean, I just got these not too long ago and I already want to get another pair and maybe a backup pair. So like, I don't know. It's just so annoying. So if you have glasses, shout out, hit me up in the comments. These are from Warby Parker, and I will say I'm impressed. I will get some more from Warby Parker. The Sunnies will say the same, but I think eventually I'm gonna look into, I don't know if I want to do contacts. I'm not too keen on like putting my finger in my eye. Just seems annoying. And then I feel like the cost is just never-ending loop, which also seems annoying. More money, great. Thank you, eyes. I appreciate it. Blue eyes for the win. Yeah. But yeah, LASIK. I feel like that is in my future sometime. I just need to save for what the amount is for 2 eyes. I'm just gonna get the one. I'll have one good eye, one bad eye. I will save up for what the price is now, and by the time that I can afford it, it'll be cheaper. And technology should be better, which the technology is absolutely incredible. I will say I can't help to think every time when I do like LASIK research to think about what's it called? I'm just doing great on the memory game here today. That's not fun. Maybe it's the Solani new, which my throat is getting dry. I'm hitting everything. This is ridiculous. Goodness. Gosh darn. I'm just a mess, you guys. Basically, welcome to the podcast. I'm a mess. Is there a podcast called I'm a Mess? Probably. Yeah, there we go. There's a podcast idea. I'll do a podcast called I'm a Mess, and I will only do an episode when I'm like hungover or sick. That's a great idea. Like, welcome to the podcast. Oh, that made my nose runny. Sorry. Back to the point. The movie, and right back to the beginning where I suck. Final Destination. There's a scene in one of them where they're doing LASIK and something happens and the machine gets bumped and the laser goes haywire, and I'm pretty sure it like slices their eye and it's traumatic. So I'm for sure like whenever I do end up getting LASIK, it could be 2 years from now or 15 years from now. By that time, I'm probably too old and can't get it, but I'll probably need to get like sedated or something. Be like, oh no, I've watched this movie too many times once, and I don't want my eye to get lasered off. Yeah, I don't want to be a pirate. I will say I heard that the reason they wore the patch though is so they had one eye to see with, because they're wearing a patch, but they did that so their left eye would be acclimated to the dark. So when they needed to go into freaking caves and shit, they would basically just switch the eye, I guess. I don't know. And their eye would be good for seeing in the dark. Granted, I'm sure some actually didn't have an eye and no one wanted to see that shit. So they're like, hey, cover that up, okay? Cover that up. No one wants to see that just hole where your eye is supposed to be, okay? Yeah. Man. This has been fun. Even though I can't remember anything. This is fun. And yeah, I think this is a good time to close this out. I think I hear my dog out there going crazy, so I should probably go help with that. So yeah, episode 201. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure if you're watching this on YouTube to like and subscribe, leave a comment, say what's up. And yeah, if you want to check out the other episodes, as always, they are on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And I will catch you next time. Peace.
The Danny Toddcast. The Danny Toddcast.